How about the weather?
Beautiful. A little breezy was good though. It was really good. It's good. It's good to get it again. Getting outside is great. Good Lord's been kind to us this winter, spring for sure. He's making it for last one. I told the guys last year it's not that bad, and this year I'm telling it's supposed to be this nice. But we appreciate it. It's good to get outside. Good weather. Took advantage of it.
Maybe it's too simple a question, but does it inject a little bit more energy when it's this nice after the winter? Guys are finally back in helmets, back working on football stuff again, and then the weather's like this.
I mean, it doesn't hurt, and part of that too is the reason to do these couple practices. You know, you're trying to, hey, we've been lifting, pulling sleds and pushing this and lifting this and running this. Now you get to play a little ball. So that's one of the reasons to get 3 practices to jumpstart, and then the back end, you hope it doesn't drag on the back end where you get a little lethargic. So, but a great weather definitely helps. And it's always, we got a great setup in the stadium, so to get outside instead of being inside, it's always great.
When do you guys go to pads? Is it a couple more practices?
Tomorrow. Or a Wednesday, or excuse me, Thursday, our next one.
Okay.
So you get 3 light. We're going to go. These 2 will go full pads, although it won't be a full out go. It'll just be a little bit more. The players will like it because instead of hitting their shoulders against each other, once in a while it'll be shoulder pads. And then we have 1 remaining light day. We'll do that Sunday, April 1st. Instead of practicing on Easter Saturday, we're going to practice that Sunday. And then 3 scrimmages. You have 3 light days. We have 3 scrimmages. Scrimmages are the 24th, the 31st, and the spring game. And the rest is just normal padded practices.
From a fundamental standpoint, I mean, how are these guys at this point maybe compared to where they were last year?
I don't know. I mean, because some of these guys weren't here too. I mean, you still got, so like, a comment I had with someone earlier today, well, for example, how's Trey doing? I said, well, that was actually Trey's first spring practice. So even though you think he started or played, still spring's a little different. The winter conditioning's different. So until you're completely through the cycle, you're still kind of learning, sorting it out, feeling it out with your mind and whatnot. So, and we got a lot of work to do fundamentally. We got a lot to do in strength development. I mean, we're a little bit better shape and stronger for sure. Fundamentally, I think we're better, but, we've got to be a more sound football team across the board, kicking, snapping, holding, blocking, tackling, the whole gig. So we're better, but there's still also it's a little hard fundamental without pads.
Yeah.
Because the pad fundamentals are a little bit different than when you're trying to do fundamentals without.
When you watch the film from Saturday, I mean, what did you see in there that you liked from the group, and did you watch film from the workout Saturday?
Oh, shoot, yeah, we watched it with them yesterday, and because that was Monday's deal, was a lifting day, and then you went through all that, and we actually had them on the field this morning for about 45 minutes, and watched that this afternoon, and went about an hour and a half. So then we get 4 hours a day, and instead of going 1 long practice, we're kind of splitting it up right now. So we try to tape as much as we can. We tape more than we can watch. But again, their recall, is better. One of the comments I made in this day and age, kids kind of play 7-on-7 in the summer in high schools. Well, college guys do that kind of year round. So this spring wasn't just about lifting, but 2 days a week they kind of went and played ball. So it's not the first day we've ever ran these plays. And it's not because they ran them in November. They were also running them in January, February on their own. So that helps.
You've talked a lot about competition. Does that specifically 7-on-7, does that help build some of that when guys, even if they're by themselves, they get to kind of fire it up a little bit in the winter and I don't know if they can keep score or anything like that, but they get to kind of, something controlled, something like a game.
We will get the formats where you kind of keep score like the kids do in high school in summers when they play those little 7-on-7 deals. So the quarterbacks run that. They do it on their own. That's what's now different for freshmen. They come in as in the summer, and they kind of, without coaches, learn to kind of play on their own. Sometimes they don't have it perfectly mastered, but it's not like day one's day one. So for this to be the first day of our official helmets, and we can have balls on the field and coaches be there, it's still not a true day one. Like a year ago was kind of day one because we're limited by rule of what we could do. This year, because the kids knew things, they were doing more on their own. That helps us now. More offenses in day one, more defenses in day one. The drills are understood. You're not talking drills. You know where to go on the field. Just the whole situations, it's just easier. There's still, though, physically a young team, a growing team. There's miles of work we got to keep plugging on.
Do you prefer it now or the clean slate that you had starting last year?
Oh, right now, close. That's why I think you see so many teams. And no, again, we've never said what we're going to do, win, lose, and ever since we've been here. But that's why you see a lot of teams year two, a different jump from year one. And definitely with the record we had and the results we had, we need a jump. So, but hopefully that, again, we've had a much better winter. 2 days in, a lot of work to do, and now we get ready to go pads. And it won't be a an all-out free-for-all kind of practice. Thursday will be very sound, simple, just a little bit more thumping. But with young players and whatnot, you got to be smart, full go up. You're just not cheap shot. But we talk about practicing physical. We talk about practicing with respect, because there's a respect you need to have for your buddy. Now you need to knock him as hard as you need to just smash him.
Right.
But he's also your buddy, and there's a proper way to smash him and throw your bodies against each other and do it in a clean, physical style of play. And we're gaining on that.
How did you guys ever come down on positions on offense, position coaching on offense with quarterbacks and receivers? I guess did you, in terms of Seth's responsibility position-wise, Kevin's responsibility position-wise, how did you guys ever come down on that?
Well, he was coaching tight. Steph was coaching tight ends in Arizona. He coached some running backs, receivers. Kevin really wanted to work with quarterbacks, but with my excuse me, my background, having watched Coach Stoops, being a defensive guy, there was 5 coaches on the defense. So I wanted 5 on the defense. I need to be a little bit more involved. I'm doing a little bit with them, but really it puts a little bit more on Coach John's plate, Coach Luttrell's plate, because there'll be times in practice where he'll go with receivers. Carter Whitson, our GA, who played the position for us at Oklahoma, Coach's son, even though he's a GA, very knowledgeable. I help a little. So it's a kind of a combination, but Coach Johns is technically in charge of quarterbacks and receivers. Carter will split off with them. I cover up from time to time a little bit, not a lot. Coach Luttrell will cover time to time. Bottom line, Seth didn't feel he wanted to be a quarterback guy. He wanted to coach the tight ends, is what he felt best about. Gives me a chance where maybe I'm not working just with one group. I'm a little more free, and I'm free, but I'm going into a room where I think I'm assisting a room instead of just being the tight end coach. Last year I was kind of being the tight end guy. Now it's like I'm just helping him out, and it gives me the freedom to go down and watch defense and individual, or I need to be with offense back and forth. So
how does it kind of change the dynamic? And have you had this kind of by committee thing where you have a guy who's sort of in charge of 2 different positions?
Yeah, you got D-line, where a lot of guys have D tackles and D ends. Those are different, and safeties, they're different, and it is different. But at the same time, the quarterback and the receiver, as much as we want to throw it, as well as we want to throw it, need to be connected together. So in some ways, to hear one voice. I mean, when I was at Northwestern, we met quarterbacks and receivers together. And even though we had a receiver coach, because we wanted to hear he's going to throw it now, and I want you here now, and he's expecting you. He wants the ball now. Just to keep those guys in sync when you're doing, your meeting time and whatnot. So it's a little bit more on Kevin's plate, but he's smart and can handle it. Was a great quarterback player. He's a great receiver coach. Carter, even though he's a GA, is competent and doing, I think, very well received by his players. You probably saw it the other day.
Yeah.
Very well received. He coaches like a coach. He's not a young kid. He's very good. And then myself and Seth will compliment him a little bit.
For you personally, how is your second spring different from a coaching standpoint than it was last year? I mean, do you have your head wrapped around more what a head coach's duties are?
I hope. I mean, again, we're always learning. If you're good at anything, you're going to keep learning every day. How to do whatever your craft is better and whatever your profession. So there's a lot to learn and grow with it. But I just think, more comfortable with, I think just understand maybe some class schedules and some issues my guys are having and going through today. So where their heads are when they walk in here and how to get them refocused a little bit better when they're out of here. What's going on? With spring break coming up, where's our mind at? Making sure Thursday's a good day and I'm where I'm supposed to be Friday. So just, understand the dynamics of school. Our kids a little bit, but I also think our kids understanding us. I just think we're a lot more, I don't think we've backed off any, and by no means I just think we understand each other, and we're as a coaching staff and players and the whole department. I just think we're functioning cleaner together.
We've asked a lot about Coach Luttrell, but Coach Fabris, how's he fit in? How is he kind of taking control of those DNs?
I think really good. I mean, he's got a wealth of knowledge and experience. And again, we lost 2 good coaches with Brett and Rod Smith and Brett Dearson. But we're lucky with the resources that the administration gave me with funds. We're attracting good guys. And I was thought Seth was a good fit, especially with where we were offensively to make a pass jump. I think defensively, John was a guy that I considered a year ago, knew of him, was recommended, talked about him, went with some guys the defensive coaches knew, but I kind of thought where he was, his background, his kicking background, he'll have some really good ties, maybe not just JC, but Georgia recruiting. Sorry to see Brett leave, but I think he's a good addition. and I'm impressed with him on the field. Each guy's a different guy, but on the field, very competitive. He's been around some great coaches. He's very disciplined, very detailed, very energetic, very enthusiastic. I think he's a really positive, strong coach. Guys, good?
Yep. Real quick, you mentioned the GA, Carter. Just is this kind of the most? I know I'm moving you along. I know you're gonna play. What makes
him closer to the Masters?
What's that? I know. I'm moving it along. I'm making it quick. What's?
Yeah. That's
Get
the
with
question.
question.
Come on.
Okay, you guys are killing me. What makes him a guy that
like
you feel
Sergio,
that
just
confident in? I guess that you're how many GAs have you had that you've been willing to sort of
That's
give
a part
that
of
much?
it. Well, yeah, that's a part of it. Because if not, I would probably say, let me have the quarterbacks, or no, Seth, you come to receivers and I'll take the tight ends.
Right.
I thought they could handle it. I also thought meeting together with Kevin, I thought he could handle that load too. So, but that was a part of it. Him having played for us, he's a coach's son. He played for us. He was with us last year. What I've been impressed, I think the kids are behind him, and I didn't know if that would. I mean, I'm watching him talk to the kids, and I think the kids are listening, and that's sometimes I didn't know, and that's what's pleasing to see.
Thanks.
Awesome.